NHL season in the city known as the gateway to the West. But through much adversity, the St. Louis Blues have pulled together as a team, battling nightly en route to a near certain 23rd consecutive trip to the postseason party. The biggest remaining question comes between the pipes, where another season of uncertainty may lead to the possibility of yet another new face. The answer may be closer than you think.
In St. Louis, a pivotal game, the Coyotes and the Blues. Phoenix comes in 6 points out of the last playoff spot in the West with a game in hand on the Edmonton Oilers. Hi, everybody, and good evening. Welcome to Thursday Night Hockey on ESPN with Darren Pang. I'm Steve Levy. Lots of twists and turns today. The Blues are in the market for a goaltender. Everybody's talking about Phoenix's Sean Burke. Now, Burke won't start tonight. Speculation is a trade in the works, Banger.
Not to be. I mean, that's not what's happening right now. Sean Burke, the big guy, has been bedridden with a serious stomach ailment, possibly a virus, throwing up at all hours of the morning. Got on the ice for the pregame warm-up. They didn't even want him to do that. He's feeling that bad. Brian Boucher will start for Phoenix.
As for the Blues, they're 4 back in Detroit. They visit the Red Wings tomorrow night. Joel Quenneville said they won't look past the Coyotes because the meaning in tonight's game adds meaning to tomorrow night. Who's St. Louis's goalie?
It's not Sanford and Son. It's Curtis Sanford, and he's the only goalie in Blues history to win his first 4 games in a row for the Blues. I mean, Sanford has been unbelievable. And in their last game against the Nashville Predators on home ice, he made a save in the 3rd period on Orzog, right here in the slot. That was absolutely incredible. He's made 66 saves in his 3 wins.
The Blues go for a perfect homestand. Up next, we'll talk trade rumors and awards with Barrett Jackman of the Blues and the Coyotes captain Teppo Numminen on Thursday Night Hockey.
Barrett Jackman on hand here. Now, you're 4 points behind the Detroit Red Wings. Is it tough to look too far ahead when you've got a game here against tough competition?
It is tough. The last few games that we played, every team's been battling for a playoff spot. And Phoenix, no different. We got to look at them first and then worry about tomorrow night when it comes.
Barrett, any thoughts on the Calder Trophy's NHL Rookie of the Year?
It's nice that everyone's talking about it, but in the big picture, I'm looking for the Stanley Cup. I'm not looking for the Calder. If it happens, nice, but I'm looking for Lord Stanley's mug.
Barrett, great first year. Congratulations. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
That's Barrett Jackman of the Blues. Let's head over to the other bench. Steve Levy.
All right, Panger, thanks very much. I'm here with Phoenix captain Teppo Numminen. You guys are making a great playoff push, 7-2-1 the last 10 games. Where was this all season long?
Well, it's tough to say, but now we're just taking game at a time and a shift at a time and not look too much ahead or too much back. Just try to keep our focus and go game at a time.
So you guys are playing great. Everyone wants your key players. Everybody's talking about Sean Burke and Brad May and yourself. How's the club dealing with the daily trade rumors?
Well, it's not never easy, but we're all veteran players and we just try to focus on our jobs, and that's playing good hockey and winning games and get this team in the playoffs.
Good luck tonight. Thanks.
Thanks.
That's Teppo Numminen, who, of course, isn't going anywhere unless he wants to. He's got a no-trade clause in his contract. Tony Amonte says he can salvage his season by getting the Coyotes in the playoffs. Pavel Demitra and the Blues are almost there. Fans continue to file in here at the Savvis Center in St. Louis. A near-capacity crowd is expected for this Thursday night tilt. A couple of tough guys line up on the opening face-off. Reed Lowe and Brad May, and now they separate. Tyson Nash will throw the first hit of the game. As always, on Todd Simpson of Phoenix. The Blues in the home whites, and the Coyotes in the visiting green. Nash will shoot in, Lowe will center, and it came all the way across for Ryan Johnson. Loose puck, turnaround shot is stopped, and Brian Boucher is in the hockey game. If you're just joining us, everyone expecting to see Sean Burke, who's been brilliant to this point. Came down with some kind of virus over the last 24 hours or so. Was a no-show at the morning skate, which apparently is not that unusual for Burke on game days. Just not up to the task tonight. Boucher played very well while Burke was injured, is in goal tonight.
And Burke, in fact, isn't even on the bench at this particular point. He's back in the back room, lying down.
McInnes got the long shot away, not the patented rocket. It was blocker to side. by Boucher. Sean Podine on the forecheck. Back behind the net. Boganicki was tied up momentarily. That shot was blocked by Damon Lenkow. McInnes is in deep. We're a minute 15 in. The entire time it's been set in the Coyote zone. And finally into the netting and out of play. And our first whistle comes a minute 24 seconds in. And the goaltender du jour for the Blues is Curtis Sanford.
Well, Curtis won his last game, 19 shots against, only 18 saves against Nashville, but as we showed you in the open, a terrific glove save on Orzog late. He won 2-0 against Minnesota, had 27 saves there, and 4-1 against Edmonton in his first game since being recalled from a previous recall earlier in the year, but he had an injury and had to get sent back down. So Curtis Sanford is the first goalie in Blues history to win his first 4 starts.
He's appeared in 6 games the entire course of the season. Not started, appeared in 6 games, and the Blues have won all 6 of those games. So played very well when he has played, and a bit of a good luck charm as well. Off the boards and out of the zone. Mike Johnson had momentarily for Phoenix. Looked to move it ahead. Ladislav Nagy. Here's Stillman for St. Louis. He'll shoot in off the end board. Danny Markov is back for it. Off for Ossi Vananen. Vananen returning tonight after missing 14 games with a sprained knee. So how did he get it during the All-Star break? Was involved in an accident with a cab. We'll talk about that more when we get the chance. At center. And now sent softly in. Shane Doan, one of the real leaders in this Coyotes club. Brian Savage there on the forecheck. And first real opportunities in that St. Louis end. Finley's out to challenge. Here's Doan strong on the puck. Able to go behind the net. Radivojevic is there. And the Blues will pick up the loose change. Finley will reverse the flow away from Savage, go up the far side, and find Justin Papineau. Papineau, the hero on Tuesday night, had the game-winning goal in overtime against Nashville, 2-1. And the story of that game, Panger, the Blues had 12 shots on goal. Their fewest since December of '98 at Boston.
Well, they're allowed to have that once in a while. Usually, they're the team that only gives up 12 shots on goal. That happens at times, and you have to give plenty of credit to the Nashville Predators for the way that they played that game.
And across the line, Martin's let it go through traffic. Stick save Boucher. Podine is there. Loose puck. And it's picked up by Andre Nazarov of Phoenix. Wrapped around the boards on the far side. Kept in momentarily by the Blues. And now they're working in a little deeper. Simpson is there. He's checked. Back behind the Phoenix net. Amonte on it. Trying to reverse it. And send it around the boards. Good hitting by St. Louis. Boganicki finished his check. And Nazarov will chase. Nazarov will finish his check on Bryce Salvador. Center through the crease. Nobody home for the Coyotes. Daniel Briere able to keep in. Amonte in a race for the puck. Got a real good side screen by one of the Blues players. I wonder if that's one of those cases early in the season that might be called a penalty. But not here tonight. Markey's got in the way. Jackman will defend through everybody. Right back out of the zone. Reed Lowe missed a big hit on May. Johnson came flying through. Buckberger on as well for Phoenix. And some big boys out there right now. Brian Boucher slapping around the boards. Paul Ranheim able to one-touch it out of the zone. Here's May on it for Phoenix. Trying to spin around Al McInnes, and McInnes put him down in a big way.
A combination of May spinning around and off balance, and obviously Al McInnes took him down. It's a good shift by the May line here.
Johnson for Reed Lowe. Couldn't get to it. Suchi will for Phoenix. Good check in the corner there as Nash went out of his way to make contact and got the worst end of the deal. Long shot. Stopped by Sanford. And he'll hang on. 15:04 left here in the first. We're scoreless.
And that's Brad May there and Tony Amonte. And the rest of the Phoenix Coyotes are on the bench playing a tough road game. And the guy that's not on the bench is the guy that's finally getting back from a legitimate injury. The goaltender, Sean Burke, arguably their most valuable player. He's not there. See the towel? That's Burke's a lot taller than that, let me tell you. And that's Brian Boucher, who does get the nod and was aware of the situation this morning. So it wasn't a complete shock. I saw Brian Boucher when they were checking out of the hotel and gave him a little look like, you're going, aren't you? And he said, I think so. I think so. And that's exactly the case. So obviously Sean Burke wasn't able to keep any food down.
Back to the point, and that shot from Radovojevic was stopped by Sanford. All the way around, Ossi Vananen shoots to the corner. He was checked by Dimitra. Coyotes looking to cycle it down low. Puck worked free by Mellanby. Salvador able to get it across. Mellanby another chance. Held up. Good back-checking job there by Doan of Phoenix. Dimitra behind the net. Stillman couldn't get a stick on it. On the far side, Finley will force it deeper. There's Mellanby. He's put down by Doan. That shot hit off the outside of the net. Blues working around. Dimitra in the traffic towards the front of the net. Mellanby soft backhander. Never made it on goal. And it's cleared down the length of the ice, and icing will be called.
That's a good play by Doan to buy some time. Still scoreless here in St. Louis.
This is Labatt Blue, the clean, crisp lager imported daily from Canada. Its refreshing, honest taste comes from a...
Sorry, my bad. I got carried away a little. We're gonna need another blue over here. This one's spilled. Can we get another blue, please? Cole.
Back in St. Louis, Ossi Vananen was injured at All-Star Weekend. Not on the ice. He played in the Young Stars game. Got out of a cab with two writers and was hit on the sidewalk by a different car by an elderly gentleman. And it was just revealed in the last couple of days. They found out that that particular gentleman was driving the car, didn't have any insurance. I mean, Vananen missed 14 games with a sprained knee. One of the riders is seriously injured. But you think about it, freaky accident. No way you can protect yourself on the sidewalk where the car rolled up. And Vananen is, forget about playing hockey games. He's fortunate really to be alive.
It was an MCL sprain is what it ended up. Very, very fortunate. And Steve, at the same time, he had the presence of mind to reach into the car and turn off the ignition because it was still going while that reporter from Finland was in the window.
Wow. Long shot. Boucher got it with the left hand. It went to his right. Momentarily lost it, but his defense was there. Brad May will shoot it off to Suchi. And just like that, the Coyotes will get out of the zone with Paul Ranheim. Two-line pass. That's the reason for the whistle. Saturday, the NHL on ESPN2 presents one of those. There are always a handful of these games. Potential Stanley Cup final matchups. The Avalanche will be in Philadelphia. And NHL tonight will follow the game. And a look at your Eastern Conference. Of course, the Bruins are playing the Islanders as well on ESPN tonight. And pivotal matchups throughout the league. We'll keep an eye on the scoreboard for you. 28 and 58, bottom of your screen on ESPN. And we'll send it back to the studio in between periods as well. Bovinicki got it across. That shot with Podine in front of the traffic. McKinnis let it fly, and a holding penalty is coming up against Phoenix.
Good pressure inside the Phoenix Coyote zone. And because of that, it looks like Vananen is going to go off.
Mentioned the studio, and holding the fort down tonight will be Pam Ward. We'll check in with her throughout the night. But Vananen is going to go.
So the first power play of the game from the St. Louis Blues point of view. The Blues power play overall is fourth best in the National Hockey League at nearly 20%. On home ice, it's 7, just a shade under that, 19.3%. So an outstanding power play led by number 2, their captain right now, Al McGinnis. Here he is.
He's got the puck, winds and scores! I think it was tipped by Mellanby in front. It's a power play goal. 10 seconds into the power play, and the Blues take the 1-0 lead.
Well, the penalty killing on the road from Phoenix is ranked 15th at 83%. Here's the shot, and it's deflected off the toe of, looked like it was the toe of Lankow first, and then through the legs. Oh, and then twice. Yeah, definitely. Mellanby was the second guy. It looked like it went off his shin pad as well. Obviously inadvertent, but that's exactly the perfect kind of deflection that catches a goalie off guard. No chance.
The old double deflection trick, Panger.
Tough enough when McGinnis is just shooting on his own, let alone the first deflection high, the second deflection low. If you stop that, you're lucky, that's for sure.
Scott Mellanby picking up the points lately. He's got points in 3 consecutive games now. That Louis in 6 straight. 1-0 in favor of the Blues. Centering feed, loose puck in front. And Sanford didn't have to make that stop as it went wide. The Coyotes looked to calm things down. Here's Briere. Just onside. Succia let it go through traffic. Coyotes were looking for the deflection there as well, as Nazarov had the big frame in front of the net. He'll try it again. He is thumped by Laflamme. Get across the line. Papineau trying to let it go and fanned on his shot. And it's back to center and into the blue zone, and McInnes will go back and regroup. Backhander from Martin Ruchinski, who is back in the St. Louis lineup after being scratched on Tuesday night. And his shoulder apparently was sore again. Missed 5 games, came back for 3, and then missed on Tuesday night again. Here's Savage off the Eric pass, and he'll move it away. It's a 4-on-2 as they hit the Blues blue line. Centered back for Savage, and easily cleared away by Sanford to the corner. Savage again, checked by Jackman. Papineau, soft backhand pass. That was almost McInnes ahead of the play.
It was McInnes, and that was a real smart play by Papineau, too. A real quiet kid, unassuming kid with some pretty strong ability. So certainly they liked him there in St. Louis, and right now he's filling the void. They'll have a ton of injuries that are going to come back, so that'll really add to the depth of Larry Close Hockey Club here in St. Louis.
Another 20-goal season for Scott Mellanby comes on the power play. McInnes and Dimitra get the assist, 7-13. Mentioned players coming back tomorrow night in Detroit. Al McInnes will play career game number 1,400. He'll be the 20th player in history to do that. Paul Ranheim tonight playing in career game 1,000 for the Coyotes. And it's whistled down 2-line pass.
Thanks to Scott Mellanby.
Well, the one thing that Joel Quenneville told us before the game, Steve, is we need to win tonight to make tomorrow night important. And it's it's easier said than done. They are obviously, their goal, and the same with Bobby Francis' goal right now is different than Joel's, because Bobby they have to make the playoffs. I mean, that's obviously their ultimate momentum and goal right now. But for Joel Quenneville, they're 4 points behind the Detroit Red Wings, and they don't want to finish behind Detroit. You want to win your division to get that higher ranking. Big difference. Certainly big difference between number 3 and number 4.
And it's so much more than just home ice advantage. Depends on your first round matchup as well. There's a penalty on the play. And we'll talk about it when we come back. We promised a penalty. Daniel Briere will serve it for hooking. 2 minutes at 10:03. Wow, the Blues took a whole 10 seconds to score on their first power play. Let's see if the penalty killing for Phoenix improves just a little bit.
Well, they're penalty killing in Pittsburgh. The 4-1 win that Phoenix had was a very impressive win, led by the 33 saves of Sean Burke. He made it look easy, too. It was a pretty solid display, but they were fairly aggressive on their penalty kill.
Right now, the Blues can't get you out of their zone. They're already some 25 seconds in to this man advantage.
Well, Johnson and Lankow have just done an outstanding job on the PK unit and at even strength for Phoenix.
Mike Johnson's one of the great unsung, really untold stories league-wide. He was 10th in the Coyotes in points last season. He's their top goal scorer, top assists, top points this season.
Kelly Buckberger couldn't say enough about him. I mean, everything, that line, Nagy, Lankow, and Johnson have just been terrific.
Listen, your name's Mike Johnson. You don't stand out, you know?
Yeah. Just the unassuming kid, too. You know, just goes to work every day.
Common name, very uncommon play this season, having a tremendous year. Back behind the net, there's Mellanby. Couldn't get to it. Todd Simpson will fire it around the boards. McInnes got a piece. Not enough.
No, this has just been underwhelming so far for the St. Louis Blues. They can't get it in the zone and set up shop, and the fans will let them have it.
They'll be resting on their laurels. Baldinicki got it across to Drake, and he couldn't finish. Salvador on the far side. Christian Laflamme will keep in and shoot it around. And here is Dimitra. Dimitra rolls off his stick, and that allows the Coyotes to break, and maybe more. No, Radovojevic can't get there in time. 14 seconds. seconds left on this power play. Blues power play not exactly hot. Even with that last power play goal, it took them 10 seconds. They're just 4 for their last 26. And on this power play, which is now over, Briere back. Not a single shot on goal. Salvador rifle one in. Boucher will block over the side. Tyson Nash on the far side with Teppo Numminen. Vanden will come over and take over for Phoenix. Wraps around Laporte. Laflamme is there and able to keep in. Nash can't get enough of Numminen. And the Coyotes able to clear out the center and softly into the St. Louis end. Jeff Finley is back for it.
That's a quick play by Tony Money on the far side. He had to spin around and then get it to the middle of the ice. The main job of a winger is to make sure the defenseman doesn't pinch in and hem you inside your own zone. So Money did a strong job there, playing right now on a different line. He was playing on the top line with Savage and Doan. That's not the case now, where he's playing with Briere and Nazarov.
Sent down the length of the ice. No icings. Jackman will play it away. Pretty nifty move in his own zone away from Lankow. Now he gets some help in the form of Steve Martins. Martins winding up. Now turns it over. He was fortunate two of his teammates behind him. Joel Quenneville was just shy of gushing about Martins and his play this morning. And Joel's not a guy to gush.
No, but he's become a reliable player for him. And as a coach, I think that's what you can ask for is when you tap 12 on the back, he's doing a nice job for them in the role that he has.
As advertised, here's Pam Ward.
Well, Steve, Bruins 2 points behind the Islanders. We have the 7th spot in the East. Boston off to a good start, already up 1-0, and a turnover, and Marty McKinnis takes advantage. Bruins now lead at 2-0, still in the first. Steve?
Thank you, Pam. Keep us posted. The best way to follow the action of every NHL game is NHL Gamecast. NHL Gamecast provide fans with live scoring, shot charts, and game stats. NHL Gamecast available on ESPN.com as well as NHL.com. Back at center, and the Blues will shoot in. Ryan Johnson was nearly put on the Coyotes bench. Doan will jump on it for Phoenix. And some speed through the neutral zone, but they can't complete the pass. Savage on the doorstep. Sanford will hang on.
At the other end of the ice, Brian Boucher was faced with an odd man break. We've had one on each side so far, and Boganecki tried to play that puck across. That went off the knob of the stick of Boucher before Dallas Drake could get a hold of it. And Markov was there, the defenseman for Phoenix from our Southwest Airlines goal cam. There's the sprawling two-pad slide save combined with a little Dominic Hasek, but lo and behold, the puck's not there anyway. But good effort by Boucher going to his left.
Off the draw. It was pushed back, but the Blues able to get possession. And Vanden gets to it at the red line, and will shoot back in. Well, your old teammates, Kelly Bookberger on the forecheck for Phoenix. Still going at it after all these years, the 17-year veteran, Kelly Bookberger.
Yeah, and look who he's playing with. He's playing with Paul Ranheim, the 1,000-game player in the National Hockey League. 1,000 games, an incredible feat. And Brad Mays on the other side. Buckbergers have a more expanded role here, and he's doing well with it.
Boganecki, backhand, forehand, tipped it in! And the Blues lead 2-0.
Last 10 games before this one, Boganecki had 2 goals. We just showed you earlier the chance that he had on the odd man break. Here he gets a little break as well. Good stripping of the puck there by Stillman. Boganecki fires this one right off the handle and the glove of Brian Boucher. It didn't appear to tip. With Stillman in front of the net, Boganecki makes a move to his forehand, and right between the blocker and the side of the body where you hold your stick with the blocker, it deflected off that part and back behind Boucher.
And we'll see how the Coyotes counted out, trailing 2-0. Suchi's shot was blocked. Boganecki ahead of the play, and Stillman tried to get it to him. They're onside. Dimitra will let it go. Block, save, and then they crash into Boucher and the net.
And there's going to be a minor penalty on the play. As you see from our goal cam, Brian Boucher making a save and then getting plowed into. I'm interested to see what this call is going to be.
We'll check the call when we come back. We're checking for Sean Burke, and he's not back yet on that Phoenix bench.
From a goalie's perspective, Brian Boucher makes the save. The rebound's there. And Stillman says, "Are you all right?" Players do that all the time. They feel bad. I mean, in this situation, we're seeing that there's a power play because of that, but the players drive into the net. I guess it's the awareness factor that I'm sure the NHL too and general managers around the league want the players to be more aware of where the net is. Right. There seems to be I don't know, it seems to be happening more and more now that the players are going full blast, they're going full out, and they're not aware of where that crease is at all. Most guys stop a little bit, but there was a player behind him. Looked like he might have got nudged a little bit forward as well.
There's no fear of injury, though, for the player like there used to be when they were in those steel pipes and that net was not coming off. The days you played, I mean,
yeah.
Player took a chance when he went in hard. You were going to get out of the way, and he was going to crash into a post that wouldn't give. And possibly their own injury. This is a power play now. And this is a short-handed chance now.
Man, that was
Shea right back in it and make the save.
That was a hard shot by Martin Rucinski, who's really been bothered and slowed down by that shoulder, but that was a wicked snapper.
Stillman got the penalty. Goaltender interference, as you might expect. 14:48. First power play of the night for the Coyotes. That second Blues goal. Boganicki at 7-17. Stillman the lone assist at 14:22. An even strength goal, making it a 2-0 game for St. Louis. 4:25 left here in the first. Coyotes were set up pretty good. Had two guys down low, but couldn't get the pass all the way across. And it's back out to center. The Blues, we told you, had just 12 shots Tuesday in their overtime win against Nashville. They already had 12 shots tonight on goal. Find themselves winning 2-0. Sanford will steer it around. He has not been all that active. Just 2 shots on goal so far for Phoenix. With under 4 to go here in the first. Back to the point. Shot is stopped by Sanford. And his defense in good position. Drake Berehowski let it fly.
Good effort by Lankow to keep it in.
Power play continues. Another half minute. Radislav Suchi on it there. He and Berehowski will play the points with the man advantage. Lankow dump it deep to the corner to Johnson. And it's flipped out of play and into the crowd. Drake and Nagy have some words, but they'll separate. Tomorrow, ESPN's NBA Friday doubleheader begins. Paul Pierce, Antoine Walker on the Celtics, hosting Elton Brand and the Clippers in Game 2. Allen Iverson leads the Sixers out west, visiting Ray Allen and the Supersonics. Sixers have won 9 out of 10. They move into a tie with the Celtics for the 4th seed and home court in the East. So not one, but 2 pivotal games tomorrow night. Coverage begins with NBA shoot-around at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, right here on ESPN. For more information, log on to ESPN.com. 12 seconds left on the penalty to Stillman. So far, just 1 shot with a man advantage, and that was the blast by Berehowski. Suchi will reverse it back for Berehowski. The Coyotes look to wind it up, but they won't do it with a power play. That power play is history. Stillman's out. We're 5-on-5. Ladislav Nagy. He'll shoot in. He's checked by Stillman. Back behind the net, McInnes. He'll swing it around to the far side. Stillman gets to it. Checked by Buchberger. And just a blown tire by Nagy. Just wiped out at center ice. Still leads to that. Vanity, little knuckleball shot. And Curtis Sanford will hang on to that one.
It's a good save by Curtis Sanford because the hands are there, and now Brad May here. This would be an interesting scrap, I'm telling you right now. Barrett Jackman, he can really throw him. He's just as tough as nails. Good old-fashioned stay-at-home kind of guy. Won't back down from anybody. And his players admire the fact that he's an accountable guy. Brad May looking to stir it up. And he's chirping at the referee here. The future unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. He makes $1.2 million right now. And he's getting, it looked to me like that was an unsportsmanlike conduct minor penalty. It's going to be a power play. St. Louis already leading in this game. And here's the replay of the save. Vandenen's shot hit the shin pad, and then see the hands? Woo! Good little hands there, crossing over like a baseball player, a little shortstop, moving the hands around, catching it. It is an unsportsmanlike conduct penalty on Brad May.
May has been heavily scouted lately, way more than you'd expect from a guy who has 3 goals all season, but that's because, A, he's only played 17 games, but he brings so much more to the table, grit and determination. All sorts of rumors concerning May potentially to Ottawa. And certainly it's a player the Senators could use, especially on the heels of the Owen Nolan deal last night.
Yeah, I have confirmed today that at this point right now, the Ottawa Senators are not players for Brad May based on what the Phoenix Coyotes are asking for him. And clearly, being an unrestricted free agent, it's tough for a team to give up a whole lot knowing you may not re-sign that player in the future. But clearly that is the type of player that the Senators are looking for. But here's the unsportsmanlike, that the play was dead, and Brad May came in after the play and the referee gave him an unsportsmanlike conduct. That really sets a good tone, I think, from the official standpoint, that they're not going to condone the stuff after the whistle.
John Muckler, of course, is in Ottawa. The connection is there. He originally drafted Brad May, I think 14th overall to the Buffalo Sabres, so you can see why that would make sense on a couple of fronts, but depends what the offer is, and right now, not good enough. Cycle down deep. Here's Stillman. Oh, and cross and score! Scott Mellanby, second of the night. Tic-tac-toe, 3-0 Blues.
What a play by Stillman. I mean, it's funny, Stillman's name's been thrown around in several rumors because he's a $2.1 million a year player. Oh, these are hands right here. Good patience shown by 61 Stillman. Made a little move, got the defenseman Simpson here to overcommit, and then played it through the seam because Teppo Numminen had already been overly aggressive up high. And so there's no one over there, far side, except for the right-handed Mellanby, who got down on the one knee, made sure he corralled it, good balance, and fired it. No chance again for Brian Boucher in that net.
Assisted by number 61.
Just about the worst possible period so far for Phoenix. A minute 45 left in it. They already trailed 3-0. And Sean Burke is apparently too ill to even be on the bench. I mean, this is really a situation where you might think about pulling your goaltender. Although I'm not sure you'd fault Boucher. Maybe charge up the troops after the period, and we'll see if Burke does become available. Another penalty is coming up. 3-0 the Blues. Mellanby, second of the night, second on the power play. His 21st from Stillman and Dimitra at 18:06.
Well, with the delayed penalty coming up and a power play for the Phoenix Coyotes, Brian Boucher's frustration's really showing. Went over that bench. Whether that stick was broken before or not, he went over and he got a new piece of lumber.
Power play is underway now. Finley for holding at 18:27. If ever the Coyotes can get a power play goal and try to get back in this game in the final 80 seconds of period number one. Numminen will let it go through traffic. Sanford's got it with a couple of Coyotes, including Shane Doan, on the doorstep. Coming up, the Southwest Intermission Report. Pam Ward and Barry Melrose, all the latest. The Islanders and the Bruins are going wild in Nashville. And an oldie but a goodie, a closer look at Al McInnes. It's all coming up on the Southwest Intermission Report.
Nice to see Greg Johnson on NHL Tonight last night. His brother Ryan Johnson is a member here of the St. Louis Blues. And even Ryan said, hey, Greg did a good job. He really did well, and it was great for Nashville. And it's exactly right. So our hats off to the Nashville Predators for making that happen. I know it's difficult this time of year, but clearly the Nashville Predators are opening up eyes around the National Hockey League, and they came in here to St. Louis, a tough job, and played a remarkable hockey game, even though it was a loss.
Good journalism last night as well. Barry asked that hard-hitting question about that mustard-colored sweater that Nashville wears. I thought, you know, that was a hard-hitting question. I think Barry softened him up with something else and then went for the color of the sweater question.
That's fair. Giving it to the people.
Getting the job done. Play at the blue line now. Here's Nash for the Blues, and he'll shoot it down. 50 seconds left in the period. Minute 15 in the power play, so it'll carry over if Phoenix doesn't score.
Shane Doan just went off. He took a slap shot while Markov was trying to dump it in the zone and hit him right on the ankle. Maybe the left foot area, but he's off now.
And it is just kept in at the point by Danny Markov of Phoenix. Doesn't matter much, just cleared all the way down. Markov will take a look. See, he's pressured by Ryan Johnson. And the Coyotes will come out. Vladislav Neg. And right back the other way.
Boy, Phoenix just can't get it inside the zone and then set up shop. It's been a difficult task for them here.
Just 5 shots on goal in the period that will expire in 8 seconds. Back to the point. Will it count? No, it would not have counted. Dallas Drake went down anyway. Now players get together. And now they'll separate. Scott Mellenby, a pair of goals. It's a 3-0 lead for the Blues. Pam and Barry on the other side.
Hi.
Hey, guys.
So,
my girlfriend bought this furniture. Except there's no instructions.
who needs instructions? Not bad, huh?
Another Labatt Blue?
Beer me. Nice.
Look up, see.
20th and 21st. Eric Boganicki originally was credited with the second goal. Corey Stillman now gets credit for his 19th. Boganicki will get the only assist at 14:22. So it is still, bottom line, a 3-0 game. Power play continuing with a penalty to Finley late in the first period. A penalty that is now over. And they're offside. 31 seconds in to period number 2. Our Old Spice storyline. There is Scott Mellenby. He's got a pair. Amazing in his entire career. 1,209 games. Never a hat. Maybe tonight.
Our Old Spice storyline replays as the St. Louis Blues drive into the front of the net. First one, Mellenby. Second one, Boganicki. It was slightly deflected off the shaft of Stillman. Here, Stillman makes an absolutely perfect pass right over to the veteran Mellenby, who makes no mistake firing that in on the short side. But again, St. Louis has done an excellent job of getting bodies in front of the tough scoring areas. You get breaks along the way when that happens, whether it's off your rear end or off the shaft of your stick, like as is the case, or off the shin pad of Mellenby.
Penalty is coming up. Delayed call. The Blues get to it for the touch up, and it'll be a tripping violation.
Boy, a lot of staggered penalties here to break up the flow, but it is going to be an obstruction tripping call. And Habanov is going to go off, the veteran defenseman for Joel Quenneville's St. Louis Blues.
Blues penalty number 29, Alexander Habanov.
There it is right there, right at the blue line. He just turned around and tripped him up, and the referee makes the call in the neutral zone.
You're right, lots of staggered penalties here, cutting into the flow. Habanov, the trip at 54 seconds. Third power play for Phoenix, and again on the fresh sheet of ice shortly after the intermission. No shots on goal during that last power play. We'll see what they can do here. On the far side now. That shot by Doan was blocked, never made it on goal. Got a second chance, put into a pile up of players. Puck is still loose. Nagy will go back to Newman and swings it across for Doan. Here's Tempo. Quick little pass. Johnson, they play catch. Top of the circle, Nagy, the former Blue. That shot was deflected into the corner. Here's Johnson, hit by Salvador. And the Blues able to come away and clear.
Well, the power play was a key part of the offense for the Phoenix Coyotes on Tuesday night in Pittsburgh, capitalizing on a couple of goals, including Shane Doan, in fact, scoring 2 goals. But so far, not so hot for the Coyotes here. That was good puck movement there. The best of the game for them in the offensive zone. But that shot by Newman, it never got through.
In fact, just go back, you mentioned assists, rare body parts. Last night in Florida, there was some controversy. Play went off from Peter Forsberg's, I'll say, protective cup. Caught some real pain, led to a goal. Likely would have gotten an assist. I guess these scorers in Florida said he should not get an assist. That's often commonplace, and apparently the league will overturn. Right? They haven't made an official announcement, but talk about paying the price for an assist.
That's an athletic supporter.
Absolutely. His teammates were all saying that, you know, he worked hard enough to get that helper.
Absolutely.
And maybe he will, in fact, be rewarded by the league. We shall see.
Sometimes you got to put your cup on the line.
It's all about the cup, isn't it, Banger?
Darn right.
The Stanley Cup. No shots to this point on the power play. Now Habanov is out. Power play is now for Phoenix. 1 for 15 over their recent action. Here's Finley at center for Dimitrov. Stood up nicely by Barahowski. Didn't gain the zone. And LaFleur will go back and chase for the Blues. Here's Stillman with some speed at center. Couldn't hang on to the puck. again. Melody off the boards, too far for Stillman. Coyotes take over. Buchberger trying to push in, can't. And deep inside the blue zone now, they'll move it out. And as Stillman tried to glove it down, they'll say offside at that Phoenix blue line.
Well, there's a good look at their alternate captain, Shane Doan. In Pittsburgh on Tuesday night, Savage played it to Tony Amani, who wasn't playing on that line at even strength, but with the man advantage he was, and he set up shop from that point. And then from the hash marks, Amani made another pass to Shane Doan, and the right-handed Doan let that one fly beyond Johan Hedberg. And they went on to a relatively smooth sailing 4-1 victory, although at the other end of it, Mario and Pittsburgh had a few good chances at Sean Burke, who again is not on the bench. And there's several players obviously prominent in terms of trade situations, and Shane Doan is not one of those players. He's a guy that's going to be around for a long time, and a large part of the nucleus that Michael Barnett and Cliff Fletcher, Wayne Gretzky are going to put together.
Doan's been somewhat inconsistent in the goal-scoring department. Had 10 goals in a 20-game span recently, but that was before he went 16 games without a single goal. And he snapped that streak with the 2 you just showed on the 4-1 win in Pittsburgh on Tuesday night. Here are the Coyotes. No, they're not. They're offside at the St. Louis blue line. Phoenix just looks out of sync, trailing 3-0 tonight. And this must have something to do with them being out of sync. The Coyotes can't go anywhere, especially Detroit, without all the trade rumors. Sean Burke, Teppo Numminen, Brad May. Numminen is really the only one who controls his own destiny with a no-trade clause, and a lot of people think he doesn't want to go anywhere. He's very happy to end his career with one franchise.
Absolutely, and I'm sure that his wife, who's waiting the birth of their second child, is a little bit resilient in that fact, and I don't blame her at all. And who's to guarantee you're going to win anyway if you do go? I mean, who's to say they don't restructure Teppo Numminen's contract, maybe see if he can take less money and maybe extend the amount of years. Sean Burke, in the meantime, he's the last guy they want to trade. They know how valuable he is. It's really a financial situation for them where they have to remove some money.
Quick little shot is stopped by Boucher. Ruchinski able to make the save. With Newman, and everybody brings up the comparison of Raymond Bourque. That, of course, was a fairy tale. Nagy lets it fly. And the save there by Sanford, even better, there's no rebound.
Boy, Nagy had Danny Markov flying down the left side. Markov's frustrated. He went to the bench as the defenseman. On the top part of your screen is going to come. He's going to come in right there. That was Markov, and he couldn't believe he wasn't getting a return pass. Nagy looked him off, though. Look at the way Al McGinnis played that situation. That's a perfect situation in Phoenix's third odd man break of this hockey game. St. Louis has had one. And by Al McGinnis shifting over to the middle of the ice, it allows Sanford to know that that's the shooter is yours. Al McGinnis lets him know that quite clearly. Obviously a savvy move by the veteran and future Hall of Famer.
Kept in momentarily, and then Vananen got it shot, and it looked like it went into that Coyotes bench. Saturday, the NHL on ESPN2 presents the hottest line in hockey. We're talking about Peter Forsberg and the potential for an extra assist. Forsberg, Hayduk, and Tanguay, that hotline for the Avs against Jeremy Roenick and the Flyers. The action gets underway at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. I mentioned the top line for the Avs. Forsberg leads the league, 60 assists. Hayduk is second in the league in the goal-scoring department with 39. They see the overall points leaders in the NHL.
And I would expect at any point soon that Pierre Lacroix in Colorado slides in on a tail. I mean, he's a discreet general manager, one of the very best in the business. And I'm sure they're looking to upgrade their top 9 forwards there in Colorado. I think their defense is pretty much set. But, you know, the rich get better, it seems like, doesn't it?
ESPN.com recently ranked all the general managers in the NHL, and 1 and 2 was predictable. Didn't know which order they'd go, Lou Lamoriello or Pierre Lacroix. It was New Jersey 1 and Lamoriello and Pierre Lacroix 2.
Brian Burke right there doing an excellent job with the Vancouver Canucks.
Stillman pushing it towards the back of the net. Doan on the back check on him, centered, but no one home for the Blues. And Radulojevich able to shoot it around. Sanford has not been tested, really, at least not until this point.
a reason why they're all flying in right now. This was a very much a delayed hit by Nazarov, who, you know, he only goes 6'5", 240 pounds, but it's a big man. It looked to me like the player for St. Louis was obviously put himself in not a great spot.
Tough to tell who that Blues player is. They just showed it up on the big screen here, so that drew the reaction from the crowd. And there will be penalties.
Oh man.
Wow.
Are you kidding
That
me?
Stillman really caught him with his head down. Facing the play. Really caught him with his head down.
And you know, from Nazarov's point of view, it's actually, he's lifting up. It looks like he catches him with a little elbow and a lot of the tricep area. I think the fact of the matter is, this is not a very intelligent play. I mean, if you're going to go in like that, you can't have blows to the head, even if you are 6'5". You know, you just can't smoke a guy right into the head, into the glass.
I'm sure Nazarov's
There's probably a way to do this without doing it that way.
Will be that, you know, he had his head down and was in a crouched over position. But you always see those hits, Panger, the hit from behind. Stillman's actually facing Nazarov, at least had his back to the glass that time. But still, Nazarov could have taken it easy. I did not. He'll pick up the roughing penalty at 5:48, fourth power play of the night for St. Louis. You're right, not an intelligent play, especially trailing by a score of 3-0. The Blues, 13 power plays in their last 8 games just against the Coyotes. It's a 30% clip. You'll take that on your power play anytime you can get it. Tapano in the corner, far side. Trying to clear as Ranheim could not. Here's Havanok, has a lane to move in. Was just hooked at the last moment by Buchberger and able to clear all the way down the ice.
Oh, that was a very good hook right in the crook of the arm, just enough to have the puck slide off the stick of Havanok and be winning on the left side.
McInnes will shoot it around. Stillman first on it. Good to see him bounce right back up and get on the power play. Coming up on 7 minutes into period number 2. Each club with just 1 shot on goal to this point. Coyotes have 6 shots in the game, approaching the midway point. Vannanen and Mellanby go to the boards, and that allows the Blues to get possession of the puck. Here's Mellanby. Backdoor slap shot through the traffic by Stillman. Salvador steps up to keep in. 30 seconds left on the Nazarov penalty. Mellanby will play it off the boards from McInnes. Again, Mellanby, a pair of goals in the first period, has never had a hat trick in his very solid career. Shorthanded the other way is Damon Lankow. And the Blues have killed some of their own power play time. Now try to work it ahead. Can't do much with it. Sean Podine will shoot in. That'll do it. Nazarov is penalized, but not to the full extent because the Blues can't score a goal on the power play. Podine battling in front of the net. Loose puck. Here's Podine on the backhand. Sips it all over him, and Boucher will hang on.
Awesome start. Awesome start. You're looking great out there.
Awesome saves out there.
Guys, first period starts in 5.
To the end of our losing streak.
This from earlier today. That's Cliff Fletcher, Senior Executive Vice President of the Phoenix Coyotes. It could be working on a deal, Panger, or could be getting some instructions, you know, in terms of groceries.
Well, right now, as we speak, Michael Barnett and General Manager Larry Plow, they've been huddled upstairs. I was told earlier that they didn't have a conversation today, but obviously they're doing it right now, and there's going to be a scrap right off. Here we go.
Reed Lowe in the white,
you bet.
And that's Nazarov in the green. Couple of heavyweights doing battle.
Nazarov's a tough cookie, and so is Reed Lowe. But there's a purpose to this fight. And this is the reason why there's fighting in the NHL. Nazarov's getting challenged here because of what happened with that hit, that blow to the head of Corey Stillman in the far corner. Hey, height-wise, these guys are very comparable.
Yep.
Lowe is 6'4", 215 from Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. And Nazarov from Chelyabinsk, Russia, 6'5", 240.
This is an official heavyweight bout, guys. You don't see two heavyweights often go at it. There's always a middleweight who's game and ready to go. But to see two heavyweights do battle, Nazarov is accountable. Back on the ice, ready to go. And Lowe makes him accountable. Make sure he is.
Now, savvy move by Joel Quenneville as well to make sure that he gets the right guy on the ice to be able to make a point. Because here's Stillman looking around, looking down. He's looking down. He doesn't suspect this. I tell you, the more I look at this, the more I can't stand it. And then here we have right off the face-off. Look at Nazarov knew right away. He walked right over. There's some communication. Eyes are looking. Nazarov knew, obviously, when Lowe came onto the ice. And
no stranger to the penalty box, either of those players. Both will get 5 minutes for fighting at 8:04. The college basketball regular season is winding down. Saturday, ABC Sports brings you an exciting doubleheader. Action at 1:30 Eastern, 3 Pacific, and 3:30 Eastern. Check your local listings for the game in your area. College hoops on ABC. You know, we are in March, Banger, and that means March Madness is just around the corner. Here are the Blues, and across the line. That shot missed the mark, tipped wide of the net. Out at center. Here's Johnson. Looks to push it ahead. Brad May on the forecheck there. Hits LaFlamme. Langkow able to come away with it. Back to Simpson. Simpson picked up some stitches the other day. He was so proud of the fact it was the first time he's gotten stitches all season. Said by this time usually it's 4 or 5 visits to the doctor for stitches. Especially the way rough and tough game he plays. Here's Drake now. Shot rolled in on goal. Boucher, all sorts of problems, and then it's fired wide.
And when you're down 3-0, you have to look like you're in control still. He has had very little chance on the goals that have gone in, but when those pucks are lying around, it can't be a hot potato down there. Take charge, let everybody know that you're okay.
Jackman, quick shot through traffic. And Brian Boucher will hang in, and we check in with Pam Ward.
Thank you, Steve. Minnesota has what Nashville wants. That's a playoff spot right now. Pascal Dupuis going to come up for Minnesota on the power play, and that goal is his 16th of the year. He's second on the Wild in goals scored, and it's tied at 2.
Pam, thank you. I mean, every game just seems to be pivotal. You see Nashville's deal 4 points back of Edmonton, and the Oilers will play the Kings tonight in Los Angeles. And really a pivotal game. You know, it's hard to find a game on the schedule now that is not pivotal.
Yeah, the key there is Minnesota, though, has 3 games in hand on Anaheim that they're trying to catch. So games in hand and wins are obviously crucial at this point. For the teams that are trying to catch up, they have to have teams fall right off the map. And you can't tie games. You are looking for wins because that's tiebreaker.
4-on-2, making a 4-on-3, and the Blues are offside. And McInnes bangs his stick down. Rather, Drake bangs his stick down in disgust.
He was a sour camper right there and let everybody in the building know it. Hard to give up the odd man breaks. Oh, that's close. That's very close. It looked like the right skate was dragged. If that's... Doesn't it? That was very close. And that puck just has to cross. You have to see daylight between the puck. You have to see daylight between the skate crossing over the blue line. But it did look to me, at natural first glance, it did look to me like it was offside, and that video replay shows that it was very close.
Softly into the Phoenix end. Teppo Numminen is back for it. On the far side, turned it over to Mellanby. There's Briere, though, to pump it back out. Kavanaugh for the Blues, playing the neutral zone now. We expect to be joined by St. Louis GM Larry Clough in the 3rd period. GM Mike Barnett of Phoenix has respectfully declined. It's a difficult time for a GM to come on. They're not going to say much. But maybe they can share some words of wisdom without being maybe too specific. Pass all the way across. Good back check by Boganicki. Coming back hard the whole way. Johnson overskated. Amonte the other way. 2-line pass. 3-0 Blues. Look closely at the scoring for Phoenix. Tony Amonte is 6th on the Coyotes in goals. 6th. He's got 13 goals. That's a shocking number for the high-scoring Amonte, but he said he can salvage this most disturbing, frustrating season for him personally by potting a couple and getting the Coyotes into the playoffs. As you saw, 6 points behind the Oilers for that 8th and final playoff spot in the West. Said he had a meeting with Mike Barnett, the Phoenix GM. Barnett called 10 different Coyotes into his office recently, separately, to talk about the play the rest of the way. Tony offered no excuses for the season he had. He's got the chances. He's second on the team in shots. But they just haven't been able to hit the back of the net this season for whatever reason. He'd never use it as an excuse. Maybe the fact of not having a real big-time center iceman addition to the puck might have something to do with it, although Tony would never say that. Shot from the point. Markov let it go. Another save for Sanford. Let's send it back to Pam Ward.
Well, Steve, the Cats trying to get some more distance between themselves and Tampa Bay, but they're in trouble. About 3 minutes to go in the third, and Ivan Chernik is going to bail them out. Chernik with the goal ties it up, and we are headed to overtime in the nation's capital.
All right, Pam, thank you. Keeping us posted, everything going on in the National Hockey League tonight. The trade deadline is coming up less than a week away on the 11th.
Yep, March 11th, Tuesday, 3 p.m.
Boy, I mean, I've seen you on your cell phone, Panger. What do you like on the night before the trade deadline? You must be wearing that baby out. That cell phone?
Everybody's just curious. I mean, a lot of times everybody just wants to know as if we know everything that's going on. I think we all speculate as much as anybody else, but there are times where you do know, where you have good contacts and you're able to. Everybody's the same way, basically. That's in this business, I think.
Suchi let it go, and a glove saved by Sanford. It trickled off the glove and back behind the net. I would say you are more connected than most, Ben.
I'm going to do work for our Canadian counterpart, TSN, during the line day.
Shot blocked on his side by Sanford. You haven't given us the theme song in quite some time. Kid's pitching a shutout.
It's been quiet.
Yeah,
I mean,
quiet.
It really has.
McKinnis, the rocket drive. Right pad save by Brian Boucher. And Johnson will pick up the loose puck for Phoenix. And the pass to no one, and no icing.
You can feel the hush in the crowd once Al McGinnis starts winding up there from the right side.
The heartbeat just quickens a bit to the opposing goaltender. I would imagine it would.
I guess so. I can't believe he didn't waste one up high.
Newman and softly off the boards. Kept in at the point by Salvador. And then pumped out to center. Salvador is one of the players rumored in any potential deal that the Blues might make. Papineau is another player the team seem to be interested in. I mean, young, relatively inexpensive, talented players. It makes sense.
Here's what I hear this, but clearly there's a lot of financial issues at stake. If the Blues would give up Salvador in a potential Brian Burke deal, then the Phoenix Coyotes would like to get rid of that $3.2 million and 4 more years to Brian Savage in his long-term contract. So, I mean, I don't think the St. Louis Blues are in a position to take a lot of money on. I think they're overwhelmed by the losses that they've had financially and the fact that they're committed to a lot of players. And so that's why even Brian Burke's contract's a tough one. Sean Burke's contract's a tough one to take.
Still 3-0 Blues.
Power play specialists in the NHL. They got him coming. Not a lot of teams have.
What's wrong?
I don't know. It's just a little weird with them here.
They're just here because it's hockey night. They don't care about us.
Guys.
Go ahead, dude. It doesn't matter.
Guys, I need this. Come on, Schmookums.
Langkow tips it, and then it goes off the cheater. The cuff of the catching glove of Sanford, and Curtis makes a fine save before that puck deflects over to his left. It was a Suchi shot, deflected by Langkow. Good save.
The cheater?
Very much so. It's been around for a long time, the cheater has. It's an extra cuff with an extra webbing on the catching glove, and I wonder if that's some area that the NHL, Dave Dryden kind of oversees that, the equipment. If they might say to the goalies, you know what, we can now cut that out a little bit more. I mean, there's such an argument now with the goaltender's equipment. That might be an area that they can take out. I mean, much to the chagrin of goalies that have liked that cheater. Didn't help my goals against, but I still like it.
Wait, they had the cheater back then, Panger?
Yes, they had that in 79, 80.
And that's not a slang term. It's actually called the cheater.
It's a cuff with a webbing that's attached to the thumb of your catching glove.
Is it written on the equipment, cheaters? Does it actually say that?
No. No, that's what forwards call it. They don't like it. It started in the late 70s with the great innovator Tony Esposito, and he did that.
Whistle down. Hand pass. More on Curtis Sanford, and he's given this great opportunity. Looking to go 4-0 on the homestand. He says some people live for that moment when the opportunity comes, and once they get the chance, they don't let it go. I'm one of those people. Sanford came out and congratulated Papineau on the game-winning goal on Tuesday night in overtime, and followed that up with a, hey, great goal, congratulations. I would have stopped it. So he's got some confidence, and he realizes he's been given a golden opportunity, and he might make Larry Close's job relatively easy. Sanford continues to play well. Again, he hasn't really tested tonight, but maybe the Blues don't have to give away a young player and make a trade for a big-name, big-ticket goaltender.
You have to have that ability to close the door. I had veteran Cliff Coro, my first pro hockey coach, say that to me. The minute you get called up, close the door and shut it. Don't let anybody else in. And I credit Sanford. He is doing that.
Here's Nash. Centered for Reed. Lowe is tied up at the last second. Good back check there by Brad May. Kelly Bookberger there. Coming here Thursday night hockey from St. Louis.
Man.
The Blues a 3-0 lead. Activity away from the play, I would guess, based on your reaction there, Panger. The Blues will be in Detroit tomorrow night. A win tonight, a win tomorrow night at the Joe, and they could tie the Red Wings. The Coyotes just trying to get any playoff spot. 6 points back of the Oilers with a game in hand. And again, Edmonton will play Los Angeles coming up in just a little bit.
Well, the key to this game then for St. Louis is, if they can, you get a big lead so you can rest your big guns for tomorrow night's game. So Al McGinnis doesn't have to play 25 or 27 minutes like he averages in the NHL, third most amongst all defensemen in the league.
3:33 left in the second. Our Bud Light plus-minus league leaders. And, hey, good to see someone other than a Dallas Star in those league leaders. There's Eric Boganicki, plus 20, to lead the Blues in that department.
Now, the Connecticut native, his mother will love the fact that we showed him on there. He's doing a nice job for this hockey club. He has some good hands. He came in, he's a scorer. He was last year's American Hockey League MVP. First American-born player to do so since '53. But he's also covering both ends of the ice. That makes him reliable for the coach.
Nagy took down Martins. Penalty is coming up.
Nagy's complaining that there was an embellishment there on the play. Nagy, the one-time St. Louis Blue player. He wasn't happy with that. We'll take a closer look, especially in light of the dives being monitored. Well, the thing that you can defend Martin is that he's spinning to his left, so his edge is very sharp, and then he gets tucked back. Here's a run at there. I can't believe that there was no call there on May. May's trying to stir things up with his line. Bookberger came in right after him and did the same thing.
At 16:45.
Power play is underway. Fifth power play of the night for St. Louis. Nagy for the hook at 16:45. And there goes the power play.
I guess so.
That's going to even things up. Tripping will be the call. Pavel Demitra is going to go.
Both referees had their hand up on this call. This is a dangerous situation. Mike Johnson went down awkwardly on the far side. This could really become a very testy and nasty affair. See, Demitra fell early, so now he's leaning over, he's fallen, he snapped his stick in half. Watch his wooden shaft. Right in half. Well, the good news for Johnson is that if it was maybe a stronger stick, maybe it's the leg that gets hurt, but the shaft of the wooden stick by Demitra, one of the few players, but more and more players are sliding back to that wooden stick. Players are talking a little bit about that, although the majority of the players do use some type of one-piece stick.
Demetra, the trip 17:06. So we'll play a little 4-on-4, and then Phoenix will wind up with a 21-second power play. Doan and Martin's on the draw. Doan wins it cleanly. Back for Suchi. From Markov. Here's Doan. Radivojevic is the fourth Coyote on the ice. Martin's out there with Drake, Jackman, and McInnes. Fill out your 4 St. Louis Blues. Speaking of plus minus, Barrett Jackman is a plus 19 to lead all rookies. Who's number 1? Rookie plus minus? You had to guess. It's got to be a Dallas Star, right? I mean, the Stars, they're all about plus minus. And Nico Kapanen of Dallas is tops among rookies in the plus minus department. They just dominate that statistic.
They like it better this year than they did last year, that's for sure.
Everything better for Dallas this year. Radivojevic, try a little drop. And the headman pass, Ruchinski. Newman it. Stillman will pick up the loose change. Markov out to greet him. Finds Ruchinski. Cycles it down deep. There's Jackman now. He's checked. And now Hook. Jackman to show you off some of the strength. Radivojevic bodies him to the boards. 2-on-2 to the right. Brian Boucher. The story, Sean Burke in town. Rumored to be coming to the Blues in a trade. Was supposed to start. Not available. It's come down with a virus. Only hope it's a 24-hour virus. Something he'll beat quickly. Turned over at center. But Amonte lost his edge and couldn't do anything with it. Minute 15 left in the period now. Power play underway. That mini 24-second power play. And Boucher will steer it to the corner. 14 seconds left now on the extra penalty to Demetra. Good pass by Amonte. Gets the return feed. There's the shot. Traffic. Sanford looked behind him, but he had it the whole time. Maybe his best save of the night.
Boy, that is a good one right there. He really came out there. Amani is known as a shooter, although his shooting percentage this year is the worst of his career, not getting any breaks at only 7.8%. This one here, Amani made a real good decision after the pass, came to the middle of the ice, just let her fly. And it went right between the arms. You know how many times that puck ends up between your arms and trickles in the net, hits the knob of your stick, rolls off the rear end and goes in? Well, this one here, it goes between his arms. Look at it, it lands on his right part of his thigh and stays on the pants. And then he's able to cover it up.
Demetra's out of the box. Mini 2-on-1. They're onside. Demetra to Drake. Got it. Saved by Boucher. Maybe his best stop of the night, closing up the 5-hole.
That's a big one, too. That could have been the absolute demoralizing goal for the Phoenix Coyotes. 45 seconds left in the period, right after they had a glorious chance. This one's deflected by his own player, Berehowski. Tough play here. Demetra's trying to feed it right back. It goes off the blade of the stick of the defenseman, and the goaltender opened up. You see his stick? His stick wasn't in front of his pads. It opened up already because he was moving to his left.
Off the draw. Coyotes get to it. There's Mike Johnson. Pushes it ahead. Too far for Nagy. McInnes, Finley off the glass, just out of the zone. And a penalty's coming up. Stillman is going to go for a trip on Langkow at the St. Louis blue line with 29.5 seconds left in the second.
Stillman's been active in this game, hasn't he? A goal and 1 helper, and he's been bashed about there. Zarov gave him a good thumping to the far side, and now Stillman here got called for dumping Damon Langkow. So Lankow's line going head-to-head at even strength with Pavel Demetra. Lankow's been terrific at that this year in his last game, and head-to-head with Mario.
Stillman at 19:30. Hooking is the call. 5th power play of the night. The Coyotes finish the first period with a power play, and they will do so here unless, of course, they score, as the Blues come very close to shorthanded action. Langkow the other way, off to the corner. Nagy is there. It's Johnson. Silver lead, and Doan got the shot away in a left pad save by Sanford.
That was a good save.
And the horn will sound. Curtis Sanford. When he's been tested, he's been up to it. 3-0. The Blues after 2.
I can tell you, some cynics
saying, hey, Sean Burke's in town. Wait a second, now he's not playing tonight. Not even on the bench. That maybe a trade was in the works, but absolutely nothing to that, of course.
I guess he has the flu from what I've been told. He's had the flu and he has a virus, I guess.
So bad that he's not even on the bench for Phoenix tonight. And the way things went in the first period, that would have been maybe an obvious time to just pull your goaltender, any goaltender, but not a luxury that Bob Francis has tonight for Phoenix. Doan for the Coyotes. 28 seconds left on the Stillman penalty. Hate to be offside on the power play.
Your situation right now, Larry, the depth that you have, forward-wise, you've got Tkachuk coming back tomorrow night. You've got Doug Weight coming back and playing tomorrow night against Detroit, it looks like, anyway.
Yeah, look, he's supposed to play as long as everything's all right tomorrow when he skates.
I guess you're at a unique situation for you in terms of players and the playoff run, injuries mounting, whatever, that you got guys there. You got depth up front.
We've had some depth. The players that have jumped in for us during the year with the adversity, with the injuries, have played very well. They've played really hard, and the team's played hard.
Shot and in. Berehowski let it fly from the point. It was deflected in front. It'll go as a power play goal. The power play had 2 seconds left on it, and the Coyotes are on the board and in the game. It's 3-1.
That is a shockingly quick, hard shot. That caught me a little bit off guard. Greg Berehowski letting it fly from the right point. After Sanford had made the first save, the dump around by Johnson right on the tape to Berehowski, and he looked like it might have hit something in front. Let's get a good look at it from here. Oh, boy, no way to tell from that angle, but boy, that was in and out of the net, and it caught Sanford off guard on the stick side before it went out. Right between, I think, maybe the arm and the side of the body.
Berehowski missed the first 61 games of the season due to knee surgery. He injured the knee in the preseason against Anaheim, and I think they're going to take a look at it upstairs, Panger.
Well, they are. Before they drop the puck, the officials upstairs take a look at every single goal, right, Larry?
Yes, they do. They try to look at every one if they can, and I don't know if what they're talking here. Maybe it was kicked or directed or something with his foot. We'll have to wait and see.
I mean, clearly, with how tight the netting is right now, and I know at the All-Star game, they tried a different style of net that they may use in the future. But that one there clearly hit the top part of the net, and it was out as quick as it went in.
Quick.
Yeah, it sure does. Not like the old days, huh, Larry, when you were playing?
Well, I didn't get that many to the back of the net. So.
Larry, it seems for years, 2-3 years, the Blues are constantly dealing with this goaltending question, and it sort of takes on a life of its own. And then every single loss, whether it's 2-1 even, seems to be put on the goaltending here. How are you holding up? How are you dealing with that?
Well, I think we're dealing fine. I think the goalies are dealing fine with it too, because they show up to talk to the media. They never miss, try to duck out the back way or anything. I give them a lot of credit. And up until 2 or 3 weeks ago, I thought our goaltending was fine. We haven't been as consistent, but I expect them to come back. And I think the way they handle themselves as people is important, and they've done a good job with that.
That does say a lot, doesn't it? Freddie Brathwaite, the veteran, and he's been.
We all know people try to hide at times, and these two guys have not done that.
And an injured player in front of the Blues bench, and Barrett Jackman drops the glove. Stillman is down.
And clearly, Stillman has been, and this is unfair to say, a name being rumored around. Clearly, Phoenix doesn't want Corey Stillman. They have been bashing him around. They drilled him over here in the corner. I don't know exactly what happened on that far side, but he has been a main target of the Coyotes.
It's like Doan is going to go. Remember, it was Stillman who was shaken up in the corner after the hit by Nazarov, I believe.
Absolutely was.
Nazarov, by the way, got credit for that goal, Panger.
Well, let's take this one here. Has cut the left eyebrow open of Stillman. That could be the pressure of the helmet and the force of it. Maybe really doing some work with him over there. Let's take a look. He spun around. Actually, it looked innocent enough, didn't it? I mean, what do you think?
Can't really tell in those replays.
No.
Something happened right after that, that's for sure.
Somebody on the ice, though, was called for a 5-minute major penalty.
Well, that's the Shane Doan right here because of the cut.
It had to happen right after.
I know it was Doan Panger. I meant one of the officials on the ice called for it. Linesman can call a major penalty.
5 minutes for elbowing and a game misconduct.
5-minute elbow and a game misconduct.
I've seen a lot of calls,
Sportsmanlike conduct.
and I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised that this is what this ends up. I don't want to put you in a position of identifying that, but
Stillman does pick up a minor for unsportsmanlike conduct, but that'll still leave Phoenix, or the Blues, with a 3-minute power play. Penalties at 2:26 here in the third. St. Louis a 3-1 lead.
Let's just take another look at it here. On the far side, Stillman spins, turns. Doan's there. He finishes him off. Now he must have given him a little extra right at the tail end of that. And one of the referees trailing the play obviously saw that as the players on the Blues, Jackman and McGinnis, are scraping the ice right there with the excess blood that's come off the eyebrow right around that part of the eye on Corey Stillman. So he's going to go in for some repairs. Have to get a couple of stitches or two.
And we'll go 4-on-4 for 2 minutes and then a 3-minute power play for the Blues. We're going to talk about it some more. Larry, you were talking about your goaltenders. Larry Blow, the GM of the Blues, joining us, being so accountable, accessible. You know what? I think it's a trademark of the Blues organization. Right from Mark Sauer up top, your trainers, equipment people, the coaching staff, and all your players. It's very proud of the organization.
Well, thank you for that. And I think we take pride in that. It's a big part of our business today. I feel that being available for the media.
Even your PR staff, really top-notch.
They do a great job.
No question about that. So, how busy the phone line? How can you give us this without being too specific? How many different GMs did you say you spoke to today?
Probably 3 or 4 today. I think we're like every other team. Everybody wants to try to improve themselves, and you start to make your contacts probably a month ago, and you try to get down to where you think you have a chance of doing something.
Have you imagine you visited with Barnett? Turnaround and a goal. Daniel Briere with his back facing the goaltender, spun around. And I got a feeling Larry's not going to hang around here too much longer. It's a 3-2 hockey game.
The Phoenix Coyotes aren't going away. They've shown some grit, and they're battling back. And here we've got Nagy on the left side, a guy Larry's familiar with, and him and Jackman. Nope, it's an even situation, 3-on-3. Briere actually got behind. That was the forward coming back there. That's Rushinsky right there, and he must have turned, lost sight of Briere, didn't cover him, and then Briere's wide open between the goaltender and the net.
3-2 hockey game. 3 minutes into the third. A game the Blues looked like they were in complete control, maybe cruise control even, with a 3-0 lead. And all of a sudden their advantage is cut to 1. Phoenix scoring on their last 2 shots. Markov let it go, gloved by Sanford, and he'll hang on.
Larry's heard the saying before, but a 3-0 lead at home is the worst league in hockey.
I don't care where it is. It's the worst league in hockey, and that's the league today. I mean, you can't relax for a second, and Phoenix is an excellent hockey team. Look at their record in the last 10 games, and they got a lot of their players back. They're a good team.
I think your coach, Joel Quenneville, probably will get a lot of votes for Coach of the Year. I asked him about it. He said last year was more difficult than it was this year, but to have the club where it is with the injuries and the key injuries and personnel, you guys have had 6 different goaltenders. He's done a tremendous job.
I think he's done a great job. I think both the players and the coaches have done a great job staying together and working through the adversity and not making any excuses, which I think is so important.
Offside at the Phoenix blue line. 48 seconds left in 4-on-4, and then a 3-minute power play for the Blues.
You're talking about the bench. You made a unique acquisition this summer. You signed a coach, Donnie Lever. I know that they've obviously played together, but with Joel Quenneville. And there's a good look at the veteran you brought over from the Sabres. Did you have past history with Donnie as well?
No, I didn't. No, I knew Donnie just to talk to, but the coaches have had past history, and they were very comfortable with him, and he fit the bill with some of the things that we were looking for.
Yeah. Nice job.
The 2 Coyote goals. Nazarov is third on the power play from Barahowski at 129. Nazarov had gone some 24 games without scoring a goal. And Briere is 17th, even strength from Nagy and Vananen at 258, making this a 3-2 hockey game. Here's Drake coming out of the corner through Vananen's legs, but most importantly not through the goaltender's legs, and comes up on the far side. Briere had a chance to get to it, didn't want it as much as Drake did. Rushinsky comes over to pin him boards, but it trickles back out to center. Would you expect a high-volume trade day at the trade deadline, league-wide?
I think everybody does, but you just don't know what's going to happen. But there's been an awful lot of talk, so you would expect things to happen.
It's interesting to find out which teams are buyers and renters with everybody so close. You know, with the more teams bunched up, maybe the less movement you're going to have.
That's why I think it's so close. I don't see it changing. I think it's going to be the same way right through the trade deadline. It is a tough decisions then.
2:38 left on the power play. Coyotes will get to it and clear. Put yourself, if you can, in Mike Barnett's shoes, the GM of Phoenix, who has respectfully declined to come on with us tonight on ESPN. He's in a tough spot. I mean, there's 6 points out of a playoff spot. You're kind of caught in the middle. What do you do? And that's something, fortunately, you don't have to deal with almost assured in the playoff spot.
Well, that's a hard thing. I mean, you're right. It's tough to deal with. They're a good hockey team. I think they're right in it.
And one hat goes flying. Maybe some more will come down once they realize that Scott Mellanby likely has his first career hat trick in his 1,209th career game. A couple of hats have come down, but they haven't made it onto the ice.
That is just driving to the net. This is one of the real good trades, Larry. It's worked out probably better than you could even imagine when you acquired Mellanby.
Tremendous person, you know, just really a leader, a true leader on and off the ice in all areas.
Does he have a bonus for hat tricks?
Because you know that's what's going through his head, right?
Just thinking, how many goals has he scored here?
First goal, his third of the game, marking his first career hat trick in 1,208 NHL games, scored by number 19, Scott Mellanby.
Standing ovation, and now the hats come out.
Assisted by number 2, Al McKinnon.
Brian Boucher is waving to the officials for a whistle. And all the hats on the ice. And only now do we get a whistle. It's up for the fans to enjoy it because Al McKinnon shot the puck. It was tipped by someone in front. And, of course, now they're finding out what you already knew.
Well,
Scott Mellanby, career hat trick.
It's great that he's got the hat trick. It's great that they announced it. But during play, this is a tough call right here. Throwing the hats during the play. Somebody, you know, it can happen so easily. Somebody just steps on a lid. Bad timing, I think, for the announcement.
Well, I think what happened, what Steve said, was the fans didn't realize that it was a hat trick and it was Mellanby, and now they do.
And you have 2 or 3 really astute fans in the building who knew right away, but their arms weren't good enough to get the hat over the glass and onto the ice.
I tell you what, Al McGinnis did a great job of keeping this puck low. I marvel every time I see Al with the curve on his stick, but his ability to keep it low when necessary, with that puck bobbling the way it is. Good job by Mellanby, driving hard to the net as he's done all game long.
And it's a rare power play hat trick. All 3 goals coming on the power play for Scott Mellanby. One of the real good guys, real good character, leader. And he picks up his first career hat trick. Congratulations to him.
Was he a trade deadline guy?
No, it was 2 years ago in February. Middle of February.
Well, the crowd really showing their appreciation as they have all year long for this club that, can we safely say that this has been overachieving's a hard word, I know, because it seems like there's only emotion game by game, but this year, with Pronger being out and the injuries that you've had to sustain, it's just amazing that you're battling. If you win tonight, only 2 points back in Detroit, and you play them tomorrow night.
Well, I say the players have really, and the coaches have kind of put those things out of their mind. And right from the beginning, we knew Pronger was out. We planned on playing, hey, without the year without Pronger. That's kind of how we all looked at it. They've responded very well. It gives other players a chance to play. And you got to be a believer in when other players get a chance, they play more, get more ice time, and they perform better. And we've had that happen to us this year. Players that have played more have had a chance to play and really have taken themselves to another level.
Will he play this year?
Good question.
Yeah, it is. Huh?
I think
still
really, we're probably a couple weeks away from really answering that question.
That's at least it's more positive than no.
Year, so.
Yeah. Larry Plow, the general manager of the Blues, kind enough to remain with us just a couple of more minutes till we take a television timeout. Puck is cleared. It's a major penalty, so that's why even after the goal, power play time continues for another minute 25. Larry, someone put it in the paper today, interesting point. Payroll around $6 $60 million or so for the Blues with a $300,000 goaltender right now in Curtis Sanford. If you're unable to make a deal, would you be comfortable with that heading into the postseason?
We'd be comfortable with our goaltending. We made decisions a couple of years ago that we were going to spend money in other areas and go with our goaltending that we had within the organization. If we can't do something, we're fine with it. And that's been the same thing for the last couple of years, that we haven't been able to do anything, get a little more experience, and we've stuck with what we had. But I firmly believe that our two goalies will come back with confidence, and I think they're going to grow from this.
Brent Johnson has been out recently with a groin injury. And a skating today. Quick shot, Salvador. One of the players rumored that everyone apparently wants if, in fact, you are able to pull off the trigger.
He's got some good young defensemen here, guys that you got to look at Al McGinnis as your director of player development on that blue line. He's just, boy,
he's been great.
Oh man, I mean, you can't underestimate how valuable the guys are. Not only is he still an all-star and still maybe even a Norris Trophy winner this year, but that ability to teach along the way.
I don't think they're, and I'm prejudiced naturally, but I don't think there's been a better defenseman in the game this year. He's been tremendous for us every night.
3-2. Oh, steal. Johnson. There's a big stop by Sanford. It's only been tested a couple of times, really tested in the game a couple of times, and they've all come here in the third period.
Yeah. No, he's solid. He's making the saves he's supposed to make, and I think that's what the Blues need. And if it goes down to Johnson and Freddie or Sanford, then that's all any team needs. Make the saves you're supposed to make, and the goals that are supposed to go in can go in the net. Larry, thanks very much for joining us. We appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
Larry Plow, the general manager of the St. Louis Blues, gracious with his time. And he was able to watch with us just as you did. First career hat trick for Scott Mellanby. It's a time for scoreboard watching, not necessarily the Carolina-Pittsburgh game, but wow, in Pittsburgh, the Hurricanes, who have been awful, shut out the Penguins 4-0 at the Igloo, adding insult to the fact it was bobblehead doll night tonight in Pittsburgh for a player who is no longer even on the team. Alexei Kovalev bobblehead night even after they traded him. So many fans who had purchased tickets for that game in Pittsburgh called up to say, hey, that's the only reason we did purchase the tickets. So the Penguins honor that request, do the right thing by their fans, and get blanked by Carolina. 4-0. Wow. Barrett Jackman is on it for the Blues. Thanks to Larry Plow, the general manager, St. Louis. Loose puck in front. Nazarov thinking about a multi-goal game. Shot away. 2-on-1. Mellanby was tugged at from behind. Anybody see that?
Yep, grabbed his jersey from behind. Markov did.
I meant the referee. Not you. I know you saw it. That shot, stick save. That looked like what they do in those celebrity games. They just grab your jersey from behind and hang on to you for a while. I know you saw it.
Markov, I'm actually surprised. I guess because he grabbed it and then let go right away.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah. Here's Numanen behind the net. Nagy flips it out. Lancaster, Johnson. Drop. Briere lets it go. Shot block. Rebound. Score! Damon Lancaster. And it's back to being a one-goal game. No laughing matter.
Well, for a guy that scored only one goal in his first 24 games, he has absolutely offensively been stellar, catching up to last year's terrific offensive performance. First one was blocked. That was a terrific shot block, but unfortunately for the Blues, unfortunately for Damon, it came right to him in the slot. So Martins is there. Podine tries to go down. Is that Habanov in front of the net? He's screening the goaltender. The goaltender can't see anybody right there. He goes down, doesn't see it. Now, perfect shot. Perfect shot as Markov celebrates from the bench. It was Markov that was coming back inside his own zone, tugging on the jersey there a little while ago. I saw that. And Damon Lankow, excuse me, with his 17th tally.
Blues take a timeout and want to settle some things down. This was a 3-0 game in favor of the Blues entering the third period. And we find ourselves at 4-3 now with 10:42 left in the third. And I'd say that's a good timeout to take for Joel Quenneville.
Let's go back to Markov there in that situation, coming back inside his own zone. He had broken his stick at the near boards. Oh, I'm going to tug his jersey once. I mean, that's exactly what gets called.
Yeah.
And especially when you see that he's got the jersey in the palm of his hand. Markov was fortunate. There's no call there. Markov's a very emotional guy. I mean, he plays with a lot of passion, a lot of energy. I like him. He adds a lot to the game. And he got away with a little tuck there. And now it's a one-goal hockey game.
Turned over to Martin. Martin's in the corner. Finds Boganicki, and the puck jumped on him. Over his stick and out to center ice. Coyotes now scored 3 goals on 7 shots this period. They only have 18 for the entire game. Vananen overskated. He'll get some help. Pushed up along the wall. Nagy will drop it down. Nagy taken down by Lucinski. And let's see, it's 2-line pass. Not a penalty on the play.
No, Nagy's chirping at the referee trying to get a call, but there's no call at all. And Ruchinski was looking around, but it was no case. Meantime, Nagy through the neutral zone, trying to cut into his left, and actually the skate, it looked like the skate of Ruchinski from that angle clipped the right skate of Nagy, so that one was a little bit more obvious, or anyway, it looked a little bit worse than the original.
Let's take care of some housekeeping. Well, Berehowski got a stick up on Drake, and a penalty coming up. We'll step out. 1-goal game.
It's going to be a double minor for high sticking here as the stick of Berehowski comes up and just drills Drake in the face, and it cuts him. So there's a double minor. Bobby Francis, excuse me, has been on the other side of a couple of calls here. Doan with that 5-minute major and a game misconduct. And now you've got a double minor here as the Coyotes were climbing back into this hockey game.
Mellenby goal for the hat trick. His 22nd was a power play goal for McInnes, 5-13. Then Lankout came back, his 17th of the year from Vananen and Mike Johnson at 9-18. And it's a 1-goal hockey game with the Blues on a double power play. 4-minute power play for St. Louis. Here's Havanoff now. Lets it go through traffic and trickles in. Scott Mellenby. Make it 4 goals for Mellenby. 5-3 Blues.
Great hand-eye coordination by Mellenby. And he's scoring all these goals in the dirty areas. That's what you love about this guy, boy. What a gamer. Right in front of the net. Drive into the front. Shot. Good setup right here. Usually it's McInnes on that high side. McInnes going to be to your right. This shot by Havanoff blocked by the goaltender. The rebound comes out, and Mellenby with his stick down at elbow level just taps it into the wide open net.
5-3 Blues. He's got 4 goals, Panger, all 4 on the power play.
Wow.
At center now. Every time the Blues jump back up by a couple, the Coyotes come back an inch closer. Let's see. Markov from the angle. That was behind. Sanford might have caught the pipe.
This is the first time that we're seeing Curtis Sanford give up a couple, and that one there was very fortunate that it didn't go in. So he's got to settle himself down, make a couple of big saves here. Only 8.5 minutes to go and a 2-goal lead.
If the Blues weren't thinking about Detroit at the game started, maybe when they had a 3-0 lead, they started thinking about tomorrow night's matchup with the Joe. And they've been shocked very much to get their minds back into this one. 8:15 to go. 5-3 St. Louis. This has been a wild affair. That's center now. There's Ruchinski. Put himself onside. And it's sent softly into the St. Louis end. Jackman will go back for it. He's forechecked by Bukruger. Half over as well. 4 Blues around the puck. And 1 Coyote. You would expect St. Louis would get puck possession, and they do. Get across the line. Here's Justin Papineau. Gives it to Havanoff, who was coming late. Now curls in the corner. Trying to cycle it a little deeper. Vananen will reverse it on the far side. Bookberger gets to it and will put it off the glass and all the way down. Certainly didn't intend for the icing, but that's the call. 7:20 left in the third in a 2-goal game. Scott Mellanby for his career hat trick. First career 4-goal game, obviously.
Yeah, driving hard to the front of the net. There's the puck up there after the blocker save. Now the rebound comes out. Boucher can't find it. Good hand-eye coordination. Bats it out of the air right into the empty net. From our Southwest Airlines goal cam, we'll see Mellanby come in from the right. Now he's in the center, right there in the middle of the net. The Coyotes don't eliminate him. And that's Teppo Numminen right there on the doorstep. Good positioning there by Mellanby.
Loose puck. Vananen in front, and Phoenix defensemen will start pinching in just a bit, down by 2. Coming up on 7 minutes to play in regulation time. Back, we're going through the record books. Welcome those of you who've been watching the Bruins, able to knock off the Islanders tonight at the Fleet Center. So Boston's put a couple of wins together. Steve Levy, Darren Pang from St. Louis. If you're just joining us, Scott Mellanby never had a hat trick before in his career, and tonight he's got a 4-goal game, all 4 of them on the power play. The Blues had a 3-0 lead after 1, 3-0 lead after 2. It was a 3-2 game, 4-2, 4-3, and now 5-3. A second period that didn't offer much. A third period that has offered absolutely everything. And we figure to get a fantastic finish now for the final 6.5. The Blues go into Detroit tomorrow night. A win here tonight and a win against the Red Wings at the Joe. And they would tie the Red Wings for first place in the division. As for Phoenix, they come in 6 points out of the final playoff spot in the West with a game in hand on the Oilers. And Edmonton just underway at Staples Center against the Kings tonight. Curtis Sanford, the goaltender, from 3-0 on the homestand, shovels it out ahead. Blues inside the Phoenix zone. Loose puck. Nash got the opportunity. Haven't seen a lot of this line here in the third. Trying to get some energy now for St. Louis. Get their crowd back into this game.
And if you're wondering about the much rampant speculation about a Sean Burke rumor, he's got the flu. He's not in this hockey game. 2 points. Demetra, 3 helpers and a couple of shots with the big story. Veteran right winger Scott Mellanby, 4 power play goals on just 4 shots. Paying a price to make a play, and he has done that. And all bounces going his way as well. A couple of just going to the front of the net, one off the shin pad, going in front of the net, getting a rebound. It's been some good stuff. And then don't forget that great pass by Stillman when he had that one-timer from the short side. Perfect play.
Blues power play coming into this game had been 3 for 25. Tonight 4 for 9, all 4 off the stick of Scott Mellanby. And we are going through the Blues records, but they don't list most power play goals in a game. They list most shorthanded goals in a game. If you had to guess, think there's been another Blues player with 4 power play goals in a game? I don't know the answer.
I would say Brett Hull. I mean, he would just come to mind as a guy that he has the potential to do that.
That would make sense, absolutely. 4 power play goals tonight. Great story from Mellanby, one of the real good guys, a real leader in the room and on the ice. Had never had a hat trick. Tonight he's got 4. Here's Boganecki now. He'll peel off. Markov out to greet him. I'm not sure Danny Markov has left the ice in the last few minutes. Far side, Salvador and Amonte go battle for it. Berehowski, bad penalty to take in his own end. Blatant interference, put Boganecki down, no question, and he's going to go.
Well, they got that old syndrome of, you know, what did I do? But the fact of the matter is that Berehowski turned to his left with Boganecki coming back in behind the net. And right here, the puck has already gone by. You know, you're not allowed to do that. So I really don't know what he's arguing about. And clearly that shows you puck has gone by 1,001, 1,002, and he blocks him off. Anyway, Scott Mellanby, the big story. McGinnis' shot early, the power play. We weren't sure who would hit it first. It was clearly Mellanby in front. That one there from Stillman. This one here again, Mellanby drives to the front net, deflects it. Here in this period, 4th goal of the game, out of midair, and he taps it behind Brian Boucher.
Stillman.
Oh, he's looking for him again over there.
Back door. Mellenby's got the puck now.
They've got some good chemistry going with that dot-to-dot pass.
Yeah. This is another power play. Imagine that. Not just a 5-goal game, but 5 power play goals. I guess after a game like that, your critics say, well, you can't score at even strength.
Well, you take it, though. You take it whatever you can score, huh? I know Phoenix is looking at it saying, you know what, how did this all happen when we get chastised like we do? But I think that's clearly a penalty.
Stillman, nice move, shot from the side, blatantly looking to set up Mellenby. He might have been behind the goal line when he let that puck go. Tip shot in front, missed the mark. Stillman again, back to McInnes, takes a look now, hovering along the blue line. Down deep for Dimitra. Mellenby's in a high slot all alone. Look at the tip, there it is! Mellenby got a piece, but Boucher got enough of it to keep it out. Saturday night, how about this for a matchup? Only a handful of games you can call a real potential Stanley Cup Finals preview, and this will be one of them. The Avs and the Flyers, ESPN 2, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, and we look forward to bringing you that. The Blues' record for most goals in a game is 6, by the way. That's not power play goals. That's goals of any kind. Red Berenson did it in 1968 after Philadelphia. But again, that's not power play. It's just 6 goals overall. And Mellenby's got 4, all of them with the man advantage. Still power play time for 35 more seconds. Blues come right back. Drake will jump on. Lucinski's in front of the net. Mellenby's off for a breather. Little tip shot. Papineau is there, side of the net. Couldn't get it by Brian Boucher.
Phoenix defensemen, they've had a tough time getting in the proper position in front of the net, and St. Louis is really, I think, magnifying that part of the game, and maybe it's an aberration, but it appears to be a weakness in getting good position on it's not just Mellenby. I mean, every one of the St. Louis Blues, a guy from every line is in front of that net, and they're just putting soft little shots on goal that they're able to be redirected.
It seems just from this game, Tanner, the Blues have really exposed a flaw for Phoenix. Either that or the Blues are just exceptional at doing that with their bigger forwards. But that's something that other teams, both of those items, will take notice of.
Sure. I like it. Less cycling down behind the goal line and more putting pucks in front of the net where you're actually going to score.
Sports Center's coming up next. 2:05 left in this game. Boganicki from the angle. Boucher will make the save. There's Sean Podine on a loose change. Deep inside the Blues zone. Finley on it. Checked by Savage. Boganicki will pick it. Vannanen able to work away from him. The Blues will set up shot. Boganicki, the quick shot. That was blocked by Markov at the defense. Nash trying to keep it in and could not. Coyotes look to break. 3-on-3 as they hit the line, and a penalty coming up. Briere might have been clipped up high. This game is not over. 93 seconds left in regulation. I believe the Coyotes will go to the power play.
And you know that the face-off will be in the offensive zone. The Coyotes were already pulling their goaltender for the man advantage. Oh, man, Martins. That's a surprise. He thinks he's getting underneath the stick. Oh, and it was a quick little deke. See, Briere's stick was there, so he was trying to lift the stick. Martins had no intention of putting that stick up. He tried to get the stick wedged underneath, lift up the stick, but at the last second, Briere made a move towards his left, so there was no stick to lift up, and all it was the chin or the face, the lower part of the face.
Martins, 2 minutes for high sticking.
High sticking penalty on Martins. 6th power play of the night for Phoenix. The Blues have had 10 power plays tonight. You saw the net is empty. Down 2. 90 seconds left. Curtis Sanford figures to be under some pressure. Although nothing like the pressure he'll face if he goes as expected tomorrow night in Detroit. First taste of the jug. The shot deflected wide. Again, the net is empty, and here are the Blues. Wide open, empty net, and Lucinski puts it home, and that'll seal the deal in this one. Empty net, goal. 6-3 Blues. Short-handed goal for Lucinski.
I'll tell you what, Corey Stillman, not selfish. Fires it over to Lucinski, lets him score, and that has been something else. We see Dimitra and Mellenby on the bench. Empty net goal. There's a Stillman right there, knowing that Brzezinski's going to have an empty netter, better chance at it. I think Stillman's had one heck of a hockey game. I mean, he has been in the middle of some physical stuff from the Phoenix Coyotes, but in the end, he's produced in this game. He's been terrific.
No question. Has been involved in all aspects of the action. Here's Ranheim. Paul Ranheim in his 1,000th game tonight, although it won't be memorable for the final score. Offside of the St. Louis blue line. Just joining us, looking for SportsCenter. It's coming up in 49 seconds, but Scott Mellanby has himself a 4-goal game, all 4 coming on the power play. I'm sure when he had his first hat trick of his career tonight, said, hey, heck with a hat. Let's go for 4. I've waited long enough from 1,200 games to get a hat trick. Let's make it truly memorable, and he has with a 4-goal game.
Well, maybe Joel Quenneville sticks with Stillman, Dimitri, and Mellanby. Maybe Walt, maybe Keith Kachuk goes on a different line as he returns the lineup tomorrow night in Detroit. Look for Doug Waite to return as well. And their captain, Chris Pronger, is back skating, and we asked Larry Plow about that, and it's still uncertain as to whether or not he will return, but all indications are that Chris Pronger is well on his way. Skating mobility-wise, it's now just all about the wrist and the bone that was removed in that wrist and how much it can hold up. I did watch him today closely. Making those passes was fine. Handling a hard pass where he was reaching, he kind of would let go with one hand, but clearly it looks as if at least that's some positive news and that he is on the mend to recovery.
A long playoff run would just about ensure a return for Chris Pronger. Final seconds will tick down on a night in which the story was Sean Burke playing in St. Louis as a member of the visiting team. Still a chance for him to wind up as a member of the home team here in St. Louis, but tonight belongs to Scott Mellanby, a 4-goal game as the Blues defeat the Coyotes 6-3. St. Louis will go into Detroit tomorrow night with a chance to tie the Red Wings. Avs and Flyers, great matchup Saturday night over on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Next up, it's SportsCenter. Tonight's game has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. For Darren Pang and our entire crew, this is Steve Levy. Let's send it back to Pam and Barry.